My name is Sophie Glazer, and I'm joined today by my co-counsel, Ms. Susan Bond. Good morning, Your Honor. We represent the estate of A.J. Maloney, the plaintiff in today's case. We have a few pre-trial matters, but more than happy to let the defense make appearances.
Sure, the defense like the appearances.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. My name is Isaac Pigwai. Today I'm joined by Alan Lee,
Good morning, Your Honor.
Barrett Tepp,
Good morning, Your Honor.
and David Lee.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Together, we represent the defendant, Ms. Teddy Mothersbaugh. She won't be joining us in trial today.
All right, free comment?
Yes, Your Honor. First, we'd like to invoke Rule 603 and 615, which call for the swearing in and constructive sequestration of all witnesses barring party representatives. No party representatives will be present today. In addition, Your Honor, we'd just like to note for your record that a few exhibits are pre-admitted and are going to be used in reference throughout trial. The plaintiff will be referring specifically to Exhibit 3, a photo of the alleyway where the incident in question took place, and Exhibit 7, which is this water bottle right here, which was the weapon used to attack A.J. Maloney throughout our case in chief. And both parties have also stipulated that the physical injuries that A.J. Maloney sustained on the evening of July 20th were consistent with the use of Exhibit 7.
Okay. And is Exhibit 3 within this binder?
Exhibit 3 is within that binder.
All right, great. Anything else?
That's all from us.
Yes, Your Honor. We'd just like to make the court aware that today we intend on raising an affirmative defense, particularly that of other self-defense. In that regard, we have a relevant precedent that we'd like to direct your attention to. It's going to be on page 1 of case law. It's Martin v. Soto.
Okay.
Your Honor, what this precedent outlines is that in order to succeed on a claim of an affirmative defense, the person being attacked must be in immediate danger. If someone steps in and saves that person who is in immediate danger, that rescue would meet the legal requirements to satisfy an affirmative defense.
Okay.
And next, Your Honor, if we could direct your attention to the stipulations, particularly stipulation 8.
Okay.
Your Honor, both parties have already stipulated to waive all objections on the grounds of 403 to the testimony of Ittycheria. With that, Your Honor, defense is ready to go.
All right. Anything else?
Anything else? Nothing else, Your Honor.
All right.
May I please support Mr. Lee, members of the jury. The reporter set her up. The defendant finished the job. It's July 20th, 2024. Teddy Mothersbaugh is standing in a dimly lit alleyway outside of a local nightclub. As the seconds tick by, her pulse starts to climb. Her hands, they don't tremble. She knows exactly what she's about to do. She holds on to what was once a discarded water bottle, now about to be turned into a weapon. And she waits for just the right moment. She watches as her partner lures a bouncer at that night, someone named A.J. Maloney, into the alley. And she wastes no time. She goes up behind her, starts punching and kicking, takes that water bottle and hits her over and over and over. A.J. Maloney, she stops moving. She falls into a coma, and she hasn't woken up ever since. Today we'll learn that Teddy Mothersbaugh, this defendant, well, she actually went by another name. She went by someone named the Serpent. You'll learn today that the defendant took justice into her own hands. She was a local vigilante who took it upon herself to investigate drug crime at that night. You'll learn today that when A.J. Maloney got in her way, when she refused to comply with the questioning by the defendant and her partner, well, the defendant planned an attack. The reporter set her up. The defendant finished the job. That's why we're here today. My colleagues and I, we represent the estate of A.J. Maloney. We've brought a suit of civil battery against this defendant. Now, in bringing that claim, we've taken on something known as the burden of proof. We have to prove by preponderance of the evidence. That means more likely than not. that the defendant took an action to harm AJ and that she intended that harm by doing so. Now, all this means is that at the end of today's trial, you find that the scales tip ever so slightly in favor towards the plaintiff. Well, you have to find the defendant lying. Today we'll prove our claim, and we'll do this by pointing out two things throughout the course of today's testimony. First, we ask that you focus on the intent, and second, we ask that you focus on the injury. Specifically, we ask that you focus on what on what the defendant intended to do to AJ, and the injury that was caused as a result of that. So let's walk through who you'll hear from today. First, you'll hear from Jean Malone. Now, this is AJ's younger sister, and she'll tell you how she took that job at the nightclub, working to provide a life for both of them. You'll learn about the questioning that the defendant and her partner that reported did. You'll see that they harassed them, coming to their house, demanding answers. And when AJ and her sister didn't answer, well, that's when they planned that attack. Miss Maloney will tell you what it was like to see her sister in the hospital that day. And you'll see just how much injury this defendant caused. Next, you'll hear from a local performer named Umi Darvish. Now, Miss Darvish was there the night of the incident, and she'll tell you how she saw the defendant and her partner talking about how to lure AJ into that alley. You'll also learn about the weapon that was recovered from the scene of the incident and a mask that ties the defendant to the serpent and the actions taken at it. Now, members of the jury, throughout today's trial, we expect you to give testimony about something called an affirmative defense. Specifically, we expect you to hear that the serpent was acting in defense of that reporter, Alan Shear. But folks, the law said that if an attack was premeditated and disproportionate, well, it doesn't count as defense. You'll see that this was deadly. It wasn't defense. Members of the jury, today you'll see that justice, well, it wasn't what the defendant decided. It doesn't end in a dimly lit alleyway, and it doesn't end in a coma. It ends here in a courtroom. That's why we'll ask that you find the defendant liable for civil battery. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor. Opposing counsel. Members of the jury, I want you to think about someone you do anything to protect. And I'll just think of someone, a parent, significant other, maybe your best friend, someone you do anything for, you'd fight, no matter what. Today, you'll learn that's what Teddy Mothersbaugh was doing on July 20, 2024. Because when she saw her partner face down on the concrete, when she thought she was about to die, she was thinking about herself. She was protecting her partner. It's July 20, 2024. And Ali Uchida is running through the Hellfire Lounge looking for an exit. You'll learn she wasn't there for the dancing or the drinking. She was there as an undercover journalist. And she just been caught. The bouncer of the club, AJ Maloney, is screaming, pushing through the crowd, trying to get her. Allie makes a beeline for the red glow of the exit sign. She throws open the doors to the alley. She pulls out her phone and she calls the one person she's thinking. But before she can say anything, AJ Maloney catches up to her. AJ Maloney picks that phone and smashes it on the pavement. AJ Maloney takes her head and smashes it on the pavement. On the other side of the street, Teddy Mothersbaugh hears that call connect. Hello. No response. Here's a crunch. And then nothing. She turns to the alley just in time to see AJ Maloney over Ali Uchida, fists flying. Teddy runs across the street. She throws AJ Maloney off. She protects her partner. And that's why we're here today. Because the plaintiff has brought a case of civil battery that Teddy Mothersbaugh caused harm to AJ Maloney. We're not here to say nothing happened. We're here to explain why. We've taken on something called an affirmative defense. And that's a law that says you're not liable for civil battery if you're doing it to protect someone else. Doing so, we've taken on a burden of our own. We have to show you 3 things by a preponderance of the evidence, just as more likely than not. First, that Ali Uchida was in imminent danger. Second, Teddy's Mothersbaugh had a reasonable belief Ali was about to get seriously hurt. And third, the force Teddy used was proportional to that danger. And when we meet our burden, well, it doesn't matter if the plaintiff has met theirs or not. The law says you gotta side with the defense. So to prove to you she was protecting her partner, you'll hear from the very person Teddy Mothersbaugh was fighting, Ali Uchida. She'll get up here, she'll tell you about her relationship with Teddy and what he was doing at the club that night. She'll tell you about searching for an exit. She'll tell you about AJ Maloney catching her and trying to call Teddy. She'll tell you about her head hitting the pavement and thinking she was gonna die. She'll help you understand that Teddy saved her life. And to corroborate that story, you'll hear from a key eyewitness in this case, Miss Stone. Miss Stone will tell you, well, she was at the bar at the club, watching as the bouncer AJ Maloney was screaming and chasing Ali Uchida all across the bar. She'll tell you how AJ Maloney caught up to Ali Uchida. She'll tell you about the swing to the back of her. She'll tell you she went to the hospital later that night, where she both saw Ali Uchida and AJ Maloney carried out in stretchers, both of them. Members of the jury, this case isn't about the serpent or revenge, like opposing counsel would want. It's about Teddy Mothersbaugh protecting her partner. That's why at the end of today's trial, we'll ask you to find the defendant not liable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, the plaintiff called Jean Maloney to the stand. Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Good morning. Please introduce yourself to the members of the jury.
My name is Jean Maloney. It was weird to call myself that. Everyone calls me Gigi.
Gigi, how old are you?
I'm 17. I just finished my junior year of high school.
Do you have any idea what you might want to do after you graduate?
If I can afford it now, I would love to go to an acting conservatory. It's my dream to be an actress.
What made you want to be an actor?
I don't know. I've always loved movies. Sounds kind of sad, but watching people live out their lives on screen sort of makes me feel better about my own. I can kind of forget about what's happening in my world and focus on theirs.
Gigi, you know why you've been asked to testify today?
A year ago, my older sister, AJ, was put in a coma. There was an incident last July. It's pretty bad week.
If it's okay, I actually want to talk a little bit more about your sister, AJ Malone. What was your relationship with AJ like?
practically raised me. My parents died when I was 2, so I barely remember them, but AJ was 18 at the time, so she dropped out of college to take care of me. She was the best.
What did AJ do for work?
She worked as a bouncer at the Hellfire Lounge.
What's the Hellfire Lounge?
It's this awesome place. There's drugs, violence, all sorts of things you could possibly imagine. I always wondered why AJ kept working there, and she was so above all of that. She was smart, she worked hard, she stayed out of trouble, but she told me it paid well and maybe.
Gigi, you told us that there was violence, drugs at the Hellfire Lounge. Did you ever see any of that stuff yourself?
Yeah, the few times I saw what I thought were drugs being passed around, I even saw AJ with those. She used to do.
I'm going to opposing counsel and Miss Maloney with Exhibit 8. Gigi, are those the drugs that you saw at the Hellfire Lounge?
Objection, Your Honor. Like a foundation point major, the witness's testimony was that she saw what she thought were drugs. For the attorney then to say, are these the drugs that you found? There's a lack of foundation.
Response, Your Honor? Your Honor, I expect that Miss Maloney is going to go on to say that these drugs look like the ones that we saw at the Hellfire Lounge. In terms of authentication under Rule 901, the bar is preponderance of the evidence, and her saying that they look like the drugs that she saw at the bar is certainly admissible and it meets that bar.
Alright, so I say that she did bring some of the stand, I think that she laid some further testimony as to how she got the matching work, so.
Yes,
Gigi, I'd like to ask you again. Are these the drugs that you saw at the Hellfire Lounge?
Yeah, I would see lots of batteries with powder in it, just like this.
Plaintiff offers Exhibit 8.
no objection.
Brady public shooter. Gigi, if you saw drugs at the Hellfire Lounge, did you ever call the police?
I didn't. In this town, we didn't always rely on the police to solve problems like this. There was someone else who took that. No. The serpent.
Who's the serpent?
She's this self-proclaimed vigilante that went around town playing to save people. First, she was actually sort of useful. She would patrol neighborhoods and keep the police accountable, but then she took it too.
What do you mean?
She's the one who hurt my sister.
I want to talk about who the serpent might have been. Gigi, you said earlier that the serpent held people down, held people accountable. Did you ever hear anyone talk about doing that to the system?
Yeah, actually, sort of. No. Well, a few weeks before the incident, this woman named Teddy Mothersbaugh and this reporter showed up at my door. They were asking all sorts of questions about the lounge, specifically about my sister, whether she was home.
Did you tell them anything?
I didn't want to get anyone in trouble, so I was ending the conversation.
Did you ever see Teddy Mothersbaugh or the reporter again?
A while after that, I was going for a walk, and I turned around and I saw that same reporter, and I snapped. I asked her why she kept following me, and she said, "Look, kid, Mothersbaugh and I are taking down the lounge."
Objection. Hearsay.
Response, Your Honor? Your Honor, this was considered an exception to per se, 8033, motive or intent of intent. I expect that the entire quote that Ms. Mooney is about to say was that the reporter and Teddy Mothersbaugh intended to take down the club and that they would take down AJ Maloney with it if necessary. That goes to a clear motive intent.
With that 8033 proper, we draw an objection.
You may.
The reporter looked at me and said, look, Mother Spot and I are taking down. Tell us what you know, or you or AJ will go burn down.
That I want to talk about what happened on July 20th of 2024. After you heard the reporter say that she would take down the telephone, that you or AJ could go down with. How did you hear about what happened to AJ then?
I was working the closing shift at the work that night. Around 9:45, I got a call from an unknown number. I actually thought it was one of my friends, Frankie, but it was one of AJ's crew.
What did AJ?
Objection, Your Honor, lack of foundation as to how she knows that the boys were one of AJ's coworkers.
Response, Your Honor. Your Honor, when Ms. Meady picked up the phone, she had a conversation with this person, she can certainly recognize the fact that they told her that they were one of them.
We need to hear that foundation first, Your Honor.
I tend to agree.
Permission to strike that testimony.
Let's see if they can bring that in, if not, then.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you know who called you?
Yeah, this guy named Farnsworth. Who works for the club, I think they're-
Where did you tell?
He said there'd been an accident. My sister was attacked.
What did you do when you heard that your sister had been attacked?
It was out there. I went to the lounge, but they said she was taken to the hospital, so that's where I went next.
How'd you know?
Felt good. She wasn't moving, she was still. The blood, there was so much blood, it was everywhere. I tried to go with her, but the nurses, they held me back, and I told them I didn't care. I didn't care if I got blood on me, I didn't care if it broke the rules, I needed to see her.
How's your sister doing now? Is she better?
She hasn't woken up. I don't know if she'll ever wake up. He's my best friend.
You're on our phone.
Yes, Your Honor.
Proceed over.
Good morning, Ms. Maloney. I want to start by talking about what we can agree on, okay? Ma'am, we can agree that you weren't actually there when your sister got attacked, right?
No, I was at work.
We can agree that you never saw any video footage of that fight actually happening, right?
No. I just saw the ditch.
What that means, Ms. Maloney, is that you never saw who initiated that attack, right?
I guess not.
You don't know if it was your sister who punched first or if it was the serpent who punched first.
She didn't do that.
Ma'am, that's a yes to my question, you don't know?
No.
You certainly don't know if the serpent was protecting someone from your sister, do you?
No, I don't know what you're talking
Ma'am, I'm just talking about what you saw. And because you never saw any video, you don't know if the serpent was protecting someone from your sister.
about. It's not, no.
Then let's talk about how you found out about that attack in the first place. Because a moment ago, you mentioned you received a phone call that night.
Did.
Man, that phone call, it was from an unknown number, true?
That's right.
And that phone call, how long would you say that was?
It's short. It's all sort of words,
A couple minutes, man?
probably not.
During that couple minute phone call, that unknown caller, they never described how that fight occurred, did they?
telling me that my sister was just there. That's all I needed to know.
Other than telling you that your sister was attacked, that unknown caller in that 2-minute phone call never said who started that attack. True?
No.
Didn't make any descriptions physically about that fight at all.
No.
Now, since the time you got that phone call to the moment you took that stand to testify today, you haven't gotten an answer to any one of those questions.
I visit AJ in the hospital every day. I ask her how she's doing, and that's all I'm focused on is her and her.
Now, bringing you back to my question. Since that day to the moment you testified today, you haven't gotten any new information to help you answer those questions.
No,
Despite not knowing that information, Ms. Malone, you're actually willing to say anything to make sure that Teddy Mothersbaugh loses this trial, aren't you?
let's tell the story. It's my I'm saying to you. No matter how hard it is, I want to make sure that people know what happened.
Man, that's a yes to my question. You're willing to say anything to make sure that Teddy Mothersbaugh loses this trial.
Sure, anything about what happened that night.
The truth is, Ms. Malone, you resent Teddy Mothersbaugh for what she did that night, don't you?
She was killed my sister.
Of course, you think she's a monster. You resent her.
Yes.
Because you don't think she just ruined your sister's life, you think she ruined yours as well.
My sister is my best friend. From the past year, we've been so yes, I would agree.
That's exactly right, man. Since your sister went into a coma, you've been in foster care, true? Foster care is not easy, is it? You miss your sister every single day. You love your foster parents, but you don't think they could ever replace what you had with your sister, right?
My sister.
You're angry at yourself for not getting revenge sooner.
Not exactly. At the hospital, I had the opportunity to speak my mind to Miss Mothersbaugh, but I was so in shock I didn't, and I wish I had given it.
And is it not your sworn testimony that if you could do it all over again, you would have gotten revenge sooner to Miss Teddy Mothersbaugh?
That's right, I could give it her, so I
You're hoping that through your testimony to me, you ruin Mothersbaugh.
hope that there's
And you're testifying voluntarily this morning on a Saturday afternoon.
sure.
Thank you.
We're gonna go to 11, 1 minute.
We don't have a director on, we just ask that you be allowed to.
Defense witness?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the defense calls Ittycheria to the stand.
Proceed whenever ready.
Good morning. Could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Ittycheria.
Where are you from, ma'am?
I'm born and raised right here in Tower City. Lived here my whole life. It's not perfect, but nowhere is. The people here are real special. That's why I stick around.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a journalist.
What do you do as a journalist?
I work for the local paper, the Murado Times or TMT. My bosses, they were old timey folks. So we don't do celebrity drama. No, they think the Kardashians are part of the Clinton family, but they care a lot about what happens here in Tower City. So that's what I write about.
Well, ma'am, I want to talk about why we're in trial today. Are you familiar with Miss Teddy Mothersbaugh?
I am. Teddy, she's my partner. We've been dating for about a year.
How did the two of you meet?
Teddy and I grew up together. She was the girl next door. She's always liked me.
she asked me out for the first time when she was 4, told me she loved me when she was 7. I said no, but she asked me out once a year till I finally said yes last time. We've been together ever since.
Well, ma'am, do you know why Miss Mothersbaugh is on trial today?
I was in a fight last July. Someone stepped in and stopped it, that they were wearing a disguise, but people are saying that person was Ted.
What I wanna do is I wanna walk through that now. When was it?
July 20th, almost exactly a year ago today.
Can you tell us where it happened?
It was at this dingy club downtown, the Hellfire Lounge. There were rumors swirling around that there were drugs moving in and out of the club. I was there to do a story on it, to take pictures if I saw anything or talk to anyone who knew me.
Around what time did you arrive at the Hellfire Lounge?
Around 8 p.m. that night?
Were you alone
No. Teddy was gonna come in with me, but as soon as I got to the line, I stopped her. I told her to wait outside, that if I needed her, I would give her a shout, but I would be able to take care of myself.
Well, Mr. Gino, what did you see once you went inside of the Hellfire Lounge?
I tried to talk to people mostly, but it was hard to hear over music, so I started looking around till I found an employee-only door near the back of the club.
Did you go inside that door?
I did.
What did you see?
A small, darker room mostly, but right in the corner, there was a little wooden crate. I opened it and there were these baggies full of this white powder.
Ma'am, what did you do once you saw that bag of white powder?
I got out my phone to take a picture, but I was clumsy and I kept the flash on my camera.
What happened next?
I took the picture and the light went off, and then next thing I know, the door behind me it's charging open and someone comes running into the room.
Did you know who that person was?
I did. It was the bouncer. I've been to the lounge a couple times. She's always the one out front checking IDs. Her name is AJ Malone.
Ma'am, when AJ Maloney saw you in front of that bag of what happened next?
I started running just as fast as I could out of there. I started pushing through the people in the main lounge, but I could feel that AJ was right behind me, so I just kept running till I could find an exit, so that way I could give Teddy a call.
Were you able to give her a call, ma'am?
No. Once I got outside, I got on my phone, but I couldn't quite hit all the keys right. And as soon as I was able to get through to Teddy, AJ came outside. She grabbed the phone from my hand and she threw it on the ground.
Did she attack you, ma'am?
She did. And I told her I was sorry. I told her I would delete the pictures and I would never come back to the Hellfire Lounge, but she didn't stop. She kept coming at me. At that point, she grabbed the hair at the back of my head and she threw me to the ground.
Did you ever stop attacking you, ma'am?
No. At that point, I was just trying to crawl away, but AJ, she pulled up my arm until my shoulder popped. I couldn't feel it anymore, so I couldn't go forward. And I didn't know what else to do.
Were you able to fight back?
No. I couldn't move from that point, and so I did all I could. And I just started yelling for Teddy.
What happened next?
I was on the ground. AJ grabbed me, picked me up, and threw me against the wall of the lounge, and I couldn't stand up. And I just kept hoping that she would stop.
Did it ever stop, ma'am?
Once I fell on the side of the wall, there was a brief pause. I heard a few footsteps. I thought it was over. AJ was right in front of me and then someone came up behind her, pulled her back. I saw them throw a few punches at each other until AJ fell back. And then after that, I'm not too sure what happened. I passed out, I think, but all I know is that they saved my life that night.
You said that you passed out. When's the next time you woke up?
I don't know how long it was, but whenever I woke up, I was in the hospital. I was confused at first, but whenever I woke up, AJ was right next to me. Teddy was there. I've never seen her so worried. She had her head in one hand. I tried to tell her I was okay, but I didn't have the heart to tell her that I couldn't take care of myself that night.
Miss Uchida, are you aware that Miss Mothersbaugh is being accused of having attacked AJ Maloney that night?
Yeah.
Of being the serpent?
I know, I know what they're saying, but I don't know the truth, to be honest with you. Listen, I told Teddy, she told me she would be there for me, but I don't know what happened, sir.
Oh man, do you think it's possible that Miss Mothersbaugh is the serpent?
I don't know. She's never told me anything like that before, but listen, whoever it was, I don't know if I'd be here without them today.
Thank you for your time today. Nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. I want to start by talking about your relationship to the defendant. All right. Mrs. Sheeta, the truth is, you're not the one on trial today, right?
No, I'm not. That would be Teddy.
That's right, ma'am. It's your girlfriend who's on trial today.
Yes, ma'am, that's right.
By testifying here today, you really hope that you can clear her name.
That's right. Listen, I don't know what happened that night.
Ma'am, you told us on direct examination that the two of you have known each other since you were 7 years old.
That's right, ma'am. We were right next to each other.
Almost your whole life, right?
That's right.
Miss Yoshida, you care about the defendant.
I love Teddy. I care about her a lot.
That's right, ma'am. You love the defendant.
Yes,
You do anything.
I would. No, ma'am, I wouldn't.
Ma'am, would you lie for Teddy Mothers?
No, listen, I don't need to, ma'am.
Well, the truth is, Miss Yoshida, you stretched the truth before, right?
Sure, I used to work for a Ittycheria magazine company, that's right.
That's right, you're a reporter, right, ma'am?
I am, I do investigative work nowadays.
And the truth is, Miss Yoshida, that as a journalist, you often twist real-life details into juicier stories, right?
That's where I work for my old company, PMC.
Ma'am, it's true. You twisted real-life details into juicier stories, right?
That's right.
So then let's talk about the story that you told the members of the jury today. Ma'am, when you learned that drugs might be moving through the club, you decided to investigate, right?
I did. TNT was doing an article about the things going on in Tower City. The Hellfire Lounge was one.
But listen here, the truth is, you didn't investigate the club alone, did you?
No, Teddy was my investigative partner.
And that's right, ma'am. You investigated the Hellfire Club with the defendant.
You have that right.
Now, let's be clear, ma'am. You gathered a lot of information about that club.
Not really. All we knew was that there were a couple of employees and some rumors going around about it.
Well, hold on, ma'am. You learned the details, the names of all the people who worked there.
A few of them, sure.
You learned the details about the layout of the building.
That's right, it's a pretty standard club.
You found out that there was a staff-only door.
That's right.
You went inside the club to find a concrete hallway in the back, right?
Objection, I need this, if you would.
Would you like to hear?
Yes, Your Honor, we've already gone through this under examination of what you saw in that lounge, to go over it again, please.
Response, Your Honor. Your Honor, the question that I asked this witness was that she found out a lot of information about the club, and she didn't immediately agree. I'm asking her multiple questions about the information that she knew, so we can establish that she did in fact learn a lot of information about the club. It's not needlessly cumulative.
I tend to agree, so, the question.
So now, on top of the names, the layout of the building, you went to the back and found a concrete hall, right?
That's right, that's where I found a little wooden crate in the back of the building.
You learned about the club's connection to drug distribution.
That's right, ma'am, the little box we found, how all these little white bag, little white powder.
Well, Mr. Shida, when you found out that a local establishment might be engaging in drugs, you didn't call up law enforcement, did you?
No, ma'am, I was doing a story on it that night, that's why I was trying to take pictures of it.
Well, man, when you heard about potential illegal activity, you didn't go to the police and tell them about what you thought was happening, did you?
No, ma'am, when I first found out, it was that night.
Instead, you played with the defendant to take matters into your own hands.
We were just doing a story on it, trying to get pictures and get a fuller idea of what was going on, that's what we were doing last year.
Well, let's talk about exactly what you did. Because, Mr. Shida, the truth is, you and the defendant spent a lot of time researching that club.
We did, before we went in, we stopped by it a few times.
And the last time that you went to the Hellfire Lounge, the defendant went with,
She's gone with me every time, like I said, she does a lot of my investigative work.
well, ma'am, the defendant insisted on coming with you to that one.
That's right.
So then I want to be really clear about exactly what you can and cannot tell us about the night of the incident. Ma'am, you just told the members of the jury that AJ Maloney attacked you first, right?
That's right.
You claim that after he attacked you, he saw you take pictures of the drugs.
That's, well, he saw me taking those pictures beforehand, and that's when he chased me out of the club. You have that right, man.
You claim that he smashed your phone, right?
He did, he took it right out of my hand when I was trying to call Teddy.
But the truth is, Mr. Shida, sitting here in court today, you have no evidence that that was
Of the smash phone, man?
ma'am, the fact that Miss Maloney attacked.
No, ma'am, that's not exactly right. I went to the hospital, they took a whole medical record of it.
Well, ma'am, you're saying you went to the hospital. You can't tell us whether Miss Shida was the one who attacked you first, right? You have no evidence.
Mr. Maloney was the one who attacked me first that night.
Ma'am, you don't have any pictures.
Pictures of her attacking me, man?
That's right.
No, like I said, whenever I got there, I got upset, she took my phone and she smashed it, that's all I know.
Mr. Shida, that's a note of my question.
No, that's right.
Mr. Shida, you don't have any video recordings of what happened or what you claim happened that night.
No, I don't know if there's any videos of the fight.
The truth is, we just have to take your word, right?
That's right, man.
Thank you. Evan.
May I inquire how much time you have left?
You have a minute.
Mr. Cheeto, when you were being attacked by AJ Malone, were you able to take pictures of that attack?
No. Whenever I got outside in the alleyway, right before AJ threw me on the ground, she grabbed my phone and she threw it. After that, it was smashed and I couldn't access it.
Were you able to take a video of that attack?
No, like I said, Mr. Lee, I couldn't grab my phone. It was on the ground.
Thank you.
Sure.
Nothing further.
Further question?
No recross, Your Honor.
And scores, just fill out your ballots right now or your, for these two witnesses, and then just let me know when you guys are done.
My, thing is not working.
It's not working. There. Yeah, maybe we'll just, I could take a picture right now,
How's that going?
or just record, I mean. Go to tablet. Sure, that's all out. Yeah, I think all good. Are you guys all good? The two of you? Okay, well, yeah, just give, yeah, you take a sec.
The plaintiff calls Ume.
Wait, sorry. He needs to fill up.
My apologies.
Yeah.
All good? Okay, go ahead.
The plaintiff calls Miss Ume Darvish, he said.
Mr.
Good morning.
Morning.
Could you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury?
My name is Yumi Darwish.
What do you do for work, Miss Darwish?
Well, I'm retired mostly. During the day, I garden, I join the book club. But by night, I'm back at it. I'm a street performer down on Jones Avenue.
Ma'am, what kind of work do you do as a street performer?
Two things, mostly. Magic and line dancing.
How long have you been working as a performer?
Couple years now. You know, they always tell you gotta stay active when you hit retirement. Stay active in the community, and I've been nothing since community like group fitness. My daughter thinks it's dangerous, but my chiropractor stuff just fly.
Miss Darwish, do you know why you're here in court today?
Certainly. I was working outside the Hellfire Club the night the big fight happened. I was there.
Ma'am, we'll get to the night of July and the Hellfire in a moment. But first, I want to ask about your relationship with the defendant.
All right,
Do you know Miss Teddy Mothersbaugh?
I do. I know both her and the partner, Mrs. Cheetah. I met him a couple years back. And they were coming at me, asking me for information about a story they were writing about Hellfire.
Miss, did you give them that information?
No, I didn't have any. And when I told them that, they ended up writing a story about me. I lost a lot of money. Can't say I like them very much.
Ma'am, I understand you have that history with the defendant, but it's important here in court that you're able to tell the jury the truth about what happened. Are you going to be able to do that?
Yes. I swore I'd tell the truth. That's what I'm gonna do.
All right, so let's talk about the Hellfire line. Where's it at?
It's on the corner of Jones and Shaw Avenue, downtown Tower City.
Have you been inside?
I have. Hellfire is the hottest club in town. Literally. There's no air conditioning.
Ma'am, what were you doing inside the Hellfire line?
The owner is real nice, he lets me perform sometimes. I do my magic act. The people go crazy for it. There's this big bowl of candy inside Hellfire, and I won't say how. But by the end, it usually ends up in my pocket.
Oh, Miss, I want to ask you about someone called the Serpent.
All right?
Do you know who that is?
Yes, Serpent is someone who's real famous in Tower City, kind of a local vigilante figure. They're crime fighting name, I guess.
Ma'am, have you ever met the Serpent in person?
Yeah, I've seen him in action. They were stopping a robber for taking a lady's purse. Seemed like a good fellow. Thank you, I liked them so much I incorporated them into my costume.
All right, so I want to talk about what you were doing on the night of July 20th. Where were you?
I was working. I was outside the Hellfire Club.
What were you doing?
My routine, moving and grooving.
And what did you see outside the Hellfire Lounge?
Not as usual, right? I mean, the club was doing business, so there was people in line, lots of that. Two people weren't in line. It was Mrs. Cheetah and then his mother's father. They were off kind of at the end of the alley, but
What were those two doing?
pointing and talking to each other
Did you hear what they were saying?
a little bit. Mrs. Cheetah, she pointed at the end of the alleyway and said, "This is where I'll exit," when I wore them out. And then Miss Mother's bar, she left, and Mrs. Cheetah, she went inside the club.
Ma'am, would you recognize a photo of that alleyway at one point?
Sure.
You can open that binder up in front of you, turn to exhibit 3. Your Honor, this already has been admitted into evidence, and I'm handing up.
Where you said, ma'am?
Yes, let me go. Ahead.
Oh, no, I messed up one of them.
Sorry. I'm there.
What's the sunroom?
This is the alleyway outside Hellfire.
Does it look any different from when you saw it on the night of July 20th?
Well, for the most part, it looks the same, but when I was there was this big water bottle on the ground.
All right, miss, we'll get to that water bottle in a second. First, can you just tell us how the rest of that night went?
It was all right. I made some tips. Some time went by, and then a car rolled up, a black car, and this serpent came running out of it.
And where'd the serpent go?
Down the alleyway. I really couldn't see what was going on, but I heard noises, yelling, and some strange thud. It was horrible to hear, honestly.
Did you see the serpent again then?
Yeah, the serpent came running back out the alleyway and disappeared behind another building.
Was anyone else left in the alley?
Yeah. I went down there to look, see what happened. And it was Miss Uchida and Miss Maloney on the ground. And Miss Uchida, she had some bruises and stuff, but she looked all right. She was sitting up. She was okay.
Objection, Your Honor, maybe here under Rule 702. This is an improper expert opinion. Miss Yoshida didn't go to the doctor's office. They didn't examine how Miss Yoshida looked to make a statement that she was in fact fine. That's an expert opinion that is witness.
Response. Your Honor, this witness is merely describing what you saw on the incident. She said that she was sitting up, had some bruises, but seemed okay. This is well within the witness's capability to testify to today, as it's rational based on her. This doesn't go over any rules relating to expertise. She's not making it.
May I respond, Your Honor?
Sure.
What this witness did was actually step beyond her observations. When she said she saw some bruises, saw her lying there, those are observations. This witness testified that she was in fact okay. That's a step beyond, that goes into an expert's territory, and this witness can't make that conclusion.
Response, Your Honor, the witness said that she seemed okay. Now, she didn't state whether she had any broken bones, whether she had any cuts or scrapes. She didn't make any medical analysis, just let the individual seem okay. This doesn't fall within expert.
I tend to agree, that this is just based off of what you can perceive in the moment, so nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Armish, can you finish telling us what you saw in the alleyway?
Right, it was Miss Uchida and she was sitting up. That was good. But Miss Maloney was on the ground. She was unconscious. She was bleeding.
Ma'am, was anything else different from when you'd seen that alleyway before?
Well, the water bottle was different. The one that I had seen, it was covered in blood.
Your Honor, let the record reflect on approaching the witness what's previously been into the witness exam. Ma'am, what did I just hand you?
This looks like the bottle that I saw, like I said, after the fight, there was blood on it, and it looks like there's a dent there in the bottle.
Ma'am, did you see anything else in that alley?
Yeah, there was a mask, a bit of a green mask left behind.
Would you recognize the photo of it, the one from you did?
Yeah,
If you could just flip the page to exhibit 4.
all right.
Ma'am, what are we looking at?
The mask that I saw in the alleyway, this thing.
Does it appear to be a fair photo?
Yeah, it does look good.
At this time, the plaintiff moves to enter exhibit 4.
Without objection, Your Honor.
We'll be publishing a copy of the Ma'am, what ended up happening to that man?
Well, Mother's ball came back to the alley and he asked me about it. He asked if I'd seen the mask. And, I didn't know how she knew about it, but I gave it back to her. She took it, and I don't know what happened after that.
Ma'am, does that mask, does it look like the one you saw the serpent wear when you interacted?
Yes, it does look like the same one.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor, and I'll be publishing exhibit 7 tonight.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Dollar.
Morning, there you done time.
Oh, that's all right, we'll get to that later. Now, I want to start by clarifying something you actually testified to on direct examination.
Okay.
You said when the fight happened that night, you were there,
Yes, I was near Hellfire in the alleyway.
but I want to be clear, ma'am, you weren't in the alley when the fight happened.
No, sir.
You didn't witness any part of the altercation, true?
No, I heard it, but I didn't see it.
You don't know who threw the first punch.
No, sir.
You don't know if Miss Uchida was being attacked by AJ Malone, right?
I don't know.
Ma'am, you also talked about how they looked after the fight, is that right?
Right, in the alley on the ground.
And ma'am, you said Miss Uchida, she looked all right.
She had some bruises, but she was sitting up, you know?
Ma'am, you're not a doctor, right?
No, no,
You didn't examine AJ Maloney or Miss Uchida, right?
no, I had a lot of today.
You don't actually know how badly either one of those people were hurt, true?
No, I'm not a doctor. It's just what I saw.
Well, ma'am, if you didn't see any part of the fight, and you can't tell us how badly either person was hurt, I want to talk about why you might have wanted to testify.
Okay.
Ma'am, you're aware that the person actually bringing this lawsuit is someone named Miss Emerson Rajan, right?
That's right. She owns the club, Hellfire.
Miss Rajan's actually a good friend of yours, right?
Yes,
They help you make a lot of money, true?
right. They let me perform outside Hellfire and sometimes inside. But
That's right, ma'am. Almost all of your work is done inside or around Hellfire, owned by Miss Rajan, right?
that's right.
So, ma'am, to be clear, you're here testifying voluntarily, right?
It's true.
Because your good friend Miss Rajan, she asked you.
He did. He knew I was there that night. And he asked me to come in and talk.
But ma'am, you actually have another personal relationship within this program, right?
Right. There's a lot of people want to know something.
Well, you talked about Teddy Mothers, right?
Yes, I know
And you said you knew them before this attack, right?
right. Her and her girlfriend.
You said you and Miss Mothersbaugh, you didn't get along very well, right?
I honestly can't say that we did.
You said they wrote a piece about you too?
That's right.
That they cost you money.
True. I did lose a lot of money. You know?
Man, they didn't just cost you money, right? They cost you your safety, right?
It's true. It was an article about me and they published it.
Well, let's break down exactly what you blame Miss Mothersbaugh for.
All right.
Because, ma'am, you actually used to be a confidential informant for the police, right?
Right, that's what they had written about in the paper.
We'll get there in just a moment, ma'am, but that was, yes, you used to be a confidential informant.
That's right.
And what that means is if you overheard or saw anyone committing a crime, you'd go tell the police, right?
That's usually how it works.
In return, they of course paid you.
Right.
But ma'am, it was important to keep this job secret, right?
Right. It works best when people don't know about it.
Ma'am, it didn't just work best. If criminals knew you were ratting on them, well, you could be in danger, right?
It's true.
So in this job, it wasn't just some extra income for you, right?
What do you mean?
Well, that job, that helped you afford rent.
Right. Income.
Once you lost that job, well, you can't even afford to heat your apartment anymore, right?
It's true. I couldn't buy the same clothes I was buying anymore.
And ma'am, for your current financial situation, you fully blame Miss Mothersbaugh, right?
That's right. They wrote the article.
They published your name as a confidential informant in a newspaper to the whole city, right?
That's right. That's what happened.
Now you're here testifying voluntarily against a woman who not only cost you money, but put your name on blast to the very criminals you read. Right?
Well, Miss Mothersbaugh is on trial. That's right.
Ma'am, my question was, you're testifying against a woman you blame for telling the entire city that you were a confidential informant for the police, right?
Yes, I'm here to testify.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, we'll just have the witness.
Defense calls Nova Stone. Good morning. Could you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury?
Good morning, my name is Nova Soto.
What do you do for a living, ma'am?
I do not believe in labels, but if you must know, I speak to the dead.
What do you mean by that?
Exactly what I said, my friend. It all started. I had a vision of my dead uncle playing tennis with Fidel Castro. Neither of them were good, but one thing was certain. I had a vision.
So how are you involved in today's?
I was at Hellfire, and I was doing the usual. I was drinking, I was doing some reading on some papers, which involved telling a lot of people whether or not they were going to burn in Hellfire. And I was there when AJ and Ali, they had a little incident.
All right, what can you tell us about Hellfire?
My God. It's like a fever dream, let me tell you. There is sweat, there is glitter, there is men in stilettos. I would live there if they let me.
How many times you go?
I want to say 4 to 5 times a week. You know more if Mercury is in better day than I need answers.
All right, then I'd want to focus on July 20th of 2020. Can you tell us some of the people you saw around?
Yes. So I was in line at that. In order to get into the club, you have to go into a line. Of course, I was doing a palm reading on one of the patrons. She wanted to know if her boyfriend was really in love with her or not. Turns out we had the same boyfriend. So no.
Do you recognize anyone in that line with you?
I did. I saw Ittycheria. She came back with the line and she was standing behind.
You ever meet anyone named Teddy Mothersbaugh?
Debbie was Alice's partner. Every time that I saw them, they were together.
See Teddy with someone there in that line that night?
They weren't at the line, they were standing by a light post, but I remember I called them over. I said, hey, ¿qué te digo? ¿Cómo me quieres?
You say anything to you?
She did. She came over. She told me if I could keep an eye on Ali while we were inside Hellfire. And of course, I asked why. And all she said was that she wanted to make sure that Ali was safe.
You ever get to meet AJ Maloney?
Yeah. AJ was the bouncer at it. And you know, I cannot say I was a big fan. You know, every single time she saw me coming, she gave me the same look my father gave me when I told him I wanted to be a ventriloquist.
I want to talk about what happened when you got inside. What did you do?
Oh, I went straight to the bar. You know, I do it to help the children.
I'm sorry. What?
I do it to help the children. You know, the more I drink, the less there is for the children with the fake IDs. I'm excellent.
So after you helped the children, what did you do?
Well, you know, I was just at the bar, and out of nowhere, I feel like I'm transported to one of my grandmother's telenovelas. You know, I look to my right, and I see this woman being chased through the bar.
Hold on, ma'am. Do you recognize the people in that chase?
Yes, it was Ali, and it was AJ.
Who was chasing who?
AJ was chasing Ali. You know, I'm talking like full sprint, like the kind of thing that you see at Best Buy during Black Friday.
You ever hear any of them say anything?
Yes, I remember AJ said, Ali, and then she yells, I will make sure you will never investigate again.
Alice, anything?
No.
All right, did AJ Maloney ever catch up to Ally Uchida? What'd she do?
She threw a bunch of it.
Did you see how that chase ended?
I wish, honestly, I wish, but I was at the bar and out of nowhere, this absolute donkey of a man bumps into me, sends my drink flying across the room. And let me tell you something. You can step on my toes, you can push me around, but you do not mess with my vodka Red Bull. So I start yelling, I start shouting, and I got thrown out.
Go back in.
No, I ended up going to the hospital. I wanted to see if I had maybe a concussion. I had a head trauma. It's not good.
You okay?
Physically, yes. Emotionally, not so much. I was thrown out. You know what I felt like? I was thinking to myself, what am I? Sexy trash?
You recognize anyone at the hospital you went to?
I did. While I was there, I noticed the two people from the chase that I was talking about, Ali and AJ, they were rolled in stretchers.
Well, how did AJ Maloney look?
I didn't get a real good look. But I do remember that there was some blood.
What about Ally Uchida? You get a better look at her?
Maybe I just really didn't. There was bruises all over her arm. She kept trying to sit up from the bed, just kept falling back.
Objection, Your Honor, improper opinion. Yes, Your Honor, the witness just testified that Ally Uchida didn't look good. Now, we actually have a medical report belonging to Ally Uchida in this case. For this witness's testimony that Ally Uchida didn't look good, it makes no fact more or less likely in this case because she's not a doctor, she has no expertise in that area, and it's an improper opinion under Rule 702.
Response, Your Honor, their witness just did the exact same thing. She said, and she looked good. My co-counsel, Mr. Tusk, objected to 702 and consistent with your prior ruling. She made her statements, there were bruises on her arms. She kept trying to get up and falling back down. It's her rationally based opinion under 701. That's not good, Your Honor.
I tend to agree, it's rational based perception, not for us.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then can you tell us one more time how Ally Uchida looked when you saw her in the stretcher bed of that hospital?
She kept trying to sit up. It didn't work. She fell back down and there were bruises all over her arm. It didn't.
Thank you, ma'am. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross-examination. Good morning, Ms. Stone.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm doing well. Now, ma'am, your testimony today, it isn't exactly the most trustworthy, is it?
No, I say it is.
It is, well, you actually left something out of your direct examination. Do you know what that is?
No,
Sure. Could you tell the members of the jury how much you had to drink that night?
I believe it was around 8 drinks or so.
Around 8 drinks. Let's break that down. You started the night with 3 whiskey sours, didn't you?
That's right.
In your own words, you drank those whiskey sours rather quickly, didn't you?
Yes, they taste kind of like acid, but in my opinion, the more you drink spirits, the closer the spirits come to you.
So that's a yes to my question. You drank those whiskey sours rather quickly.
I did.
And after those 3 whiskey sours, you had another shot.
I did.
And then another shot.
That's right.
And then another shot.
That's correct.
And then after those 3 shots, you started to slow down, didn't you?
Yes, I had gone back to the bar and I was going to get a cocktail. That's when that guy bumped into him and sent it to the front.
Well, after drinking 3 shots, you only had 2 vodka sodas after that. Isn't that true?
Correct?
Because you went to the bar that night intending to forget things you'd rather not remember. Isn't that true?
Yes. Typical Tuesday for me.
A typical Tuesday. And then after those 8 drinks, your memory, it became a little fuzzy, didn't it?
Sure, you could say that.
You actually got into a fight.
I did with the guy that threw my cocktail on the floor.
Your memory was so fuzzy, you don't actually remember how that fight started.
No, but I know how it ended. I got through it.
So that's a yes to my question. You don't even remember how that fight started. And then after you got thrown out of that bar, you went to the hospital because you thought you had a concussion.
I did.
And after you went to the hospital, you were actually thrown in jail.
Yes, turns out the guy who threw my cocktail on the floor, police.
You were thrown in jail for drunk and disorderly conduct.
That's right.
Well, then I want to talk about another reason you might not be telling the truth in this case, okay? Now, you actually lied in court before, haven't you?
Are you talking about the Taylor Swift thing?
You've actually lied in court before. That's a yes to my question.
What's before?
Right, you testified before a judge, right?
Yeah.
You told the judge something that just wasn't true.
Yes, they had asked me which concert I was going to, and I messed it up. I said that I was going to Taylor Swift. I was not.
You say you messed it up, to be clear, you did that on purpose.
Sure.
You told the judge that for your own personal benefit, didn't you?
Seems like the Taylor Swift song to me.
So let me get this straight. What I'm hearing then is you lied in court for your own benefit previously. Do I have that right?
I didn't do it knowingly. It was a mistake at first, but I kept it going.
Is it your final testimony you didn't lie on purpose?
I told the judge that I had gone to a Taylor Swift.
I need a yes or a no to my question. Was that lie on purpose?
Yes.
Well, you're actually excited to be here today, aren't you?
I have to talk to him.
Because you think this trial is a way for you to get some recognition.
It's a possibility.
You hope to go viral from this trial, don't you?
I hope so.
Not only that, but after the night where you had 8 drinks and were arrested, you got banned from the Hellfire Lounge.
Yes, that to me it hurt a little bit, but I figured that I could go to the bar across the street.
The Hellfire Lounge, you told us, was your second home.
Yes, it was. I love that place.
The same Hellfire Lounge you went 5 times a week.
Yes.
And so when you heard about this trial, well, you said, pick me, I want to testify, didn't you?
I don't remember saying that exactly.
Well, that's a yes to my question. You're here voluntarily. You're aware Emerson Rajan, the owner of that lounge, is the one bringing this suit.
That is my understanding.
So you volunteered to testify against Emerson Rajan, didn't you?
Sure, I volunteered to talk about what I saw that night.
The same man who banned you from your second home.
Yes, it's the same person. He owns the club.
Thank you. Nothing further.
How much time do I have left?
You've got 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yes, John. Ms. Stone, we've got to clear up this whole Taylor Swift thing.
Sure.
Did you telling the judge you were going to a Taylor Swift concert impact any of the details at that trial?
No, not at all. It was a mistake. I was going to a different concert. I got nervous. I did Taylor Swift. But the judge looked like they like Taylor Swift, so I just went.
Are you lying today in court? You telling me my stuff?
No, I am on the road.
All right, I want to talk about the 8 times opposing counsel said you were helping the children.
Of course.
Did that impact any of your memory for today's case?
No, again, that was like a normal Tuesday, 8, I know that's not, to me, nothing.
Well, let's go through some of those things. You had 8 drinks. How sure are you that it was AJ Malone who was chasing Allie?
100% sure.
How sure are you it was AJ Maloney who said, "I'll make sure you never investigate again"?
I'm 100% sure.
How sure are you it was AJ Malone that took a swing at Allie?
I'm I'm 100% sure.
You have those acres. How sure are you it was AJ Maloney and Alan Uchida in those hospital threats who saw that?
I know that for a fact, at least what they said.
Thank you, ma'am, nothing more.
So I get a time check.
You got 2 minutes and 9 seconds.
Yes, 3 months. Ms. Stone, you were preparing an affidavit for this trial? You have a copy of that affidavit in front of you?
Oh, I love it. I am so funny.
Take your time.
Could not find the pattern.
All right, now that's your affidavit in front of you.
It is.
You flip to the back, I believe your signature is on the last page.
Yes.
Now, a moment ago, you told us your lie in court didn't affect the outcome of the trial at all. Do I have that right?
Yes.
If you turn your attention to lines 143 and 144 and read along silently as I read aloud. I told the judge I was driving that fast because I was late for the aerosol. That was a lie. I was actually late for the Cowboy Carter tour. But the judge looked like a Taylor fan, so I was that, and I was right. The judge let me off with no penalty.
Objection, Your Honor, to improper impeachment, may I be heard? Your Honor, opposing counsel's impeaching this witness on the fact that it actually affected the outcome of her trial. This witness has no way of knowing if saying it was Taylor Swift was why the judge let her off. This is an improper impeachment for opposing counsel to make this connection. That Taylor Swift was the reason the judge let her off with the warrant.
Response. Your Honor, first of all, it's for the jury to decide whether or not impeachment is effective. And second of all, in their previously sworn affidavit, they said the exact opposite of what they said in court today. They said it was because they lied that they got let off with no penalty. It's a direct contradiction between what the witness said today and what they said in their previously sworn testimony.
Response, Your Honor? This is impeachment calling for speculation. This witness has no way of knowing if telling the judge something about Taylor Swift was what actually impacted the end of that trial, Your Honor. She didn't deny the fact she said this thing about Taylor Swift, but it's the fact that opposing counsel is making that causal connection. That is why the judge let her off. That is not a lie.
Response.
Final.
Counsel opened the door to this testimony on redirect examination when this witness testified that it had no impact on the trial. The witness had already speculated. We're merely impeaching the credibility of that speculation from their previously sworn testimony.
I see the line where it says that I was right, the judge let me off with no penalty. This does seem to contradict what you said. So I'll let this slide, but I see a relevance to the matter. Over testimony today.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll repeat the ending part of that one. In your previously sworn affidavit, you said, but the judge looked like a Taylor fan, so I went with that and I was right. The judge let me off with no penalty. Did I read that? No further questions, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor. We ask the witness to be excused.
Thank you.
Anything further from either side?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Nothing for the plaintiff.
Please allow, part of it. And. We'll continue appropriately.
Yes. All good. Everyone good? The scoring? Sorry?
One more.
Oh, yeah, okay, perfectly fine.
Okay. Alright, cool. Yeah.
Okay, all good? All right. Wait, that's,
Oh, wait a minute.
I think we're all, yeah, I can check it with tab.
You guys in the back right now, or just gonna stay here?
That's it.
All good.
You have a few comments? Do we want to do comments or?
I think so, yeah.
Alright.
My name is Suzanne Goulet.